סייעתא דשמיא, שבוע טוב, זכות הבבא סאלי, רבי ישראל, בן הרב מסעוד, בן רבי יעקב, רבי חסרה. Avodat Hashem, may the lights come down. This holy day, we're going to be learning in our Jewish Breathwork series, Neshama Neshima, and we are up to page 50, Gidul Banim, raising children. לחנך את הילד הפנימי ולהתחבר, to educate the inner child and to mature. Rav Israel Itzchak Bezinson was one of the finer tzaddikim in the 1900s in Yerushalayim, and he taught a lot of Chassidut and Kabbalah when he was very well versed and rested in all of the inner messages that were meant to be given over from a rabbi to a student, right? The things that are not necessarily always written, the deeper meanings here, and the deeper the feelings. And this Rav Israel Itzchak would always teach his students about holy breathwork with chen, chesed, and rachamim, how to teach them properly, give them time to learn how to breathe properly. And most of his students, people close to him, were balei tshuva, and people that knew of foreign things, people that had gone to the east, and they were more open to these chidushim at the time, or again, these are chidushim in the Torah world. And most of his teachings can be found in a book called Arvot Nachal, and then they also have aklatot pnimiyot, they have like inner recordings that you can find of him as well. But he warned them a lot that they shouldn't look down on learning of breath and learning breath work, right? Learning how important it is to have breath work, and because how much is needed for the nefesh. Levali sheru b'ramat teoreti. Don't leave it in this theoretical realm. Meditation, breath work, right? Don't leave it like something that you, oh yeah, that's what the tzaddikim do, or that's what the, you know. No, you have to get practical with it. You have to make it real. If you don't take it from theory to practice, you won't be able to actually get help every day, right? And to be able to cope and deal with the situations that you're going through. It's going to stay in theory, and when it comes down to practice, it's not going to be so practical. What's the main help? The infantile mentality, right? To get like rehabbed, right? To like work yourself out of being such a child, a 3 or 4 year old acting like that. Specifically in an emotional sense. You can be a genius, right? A master in math, respected by society, a wonder in philosophy, and with that, to do things that are completely immature, completely not okay to do. This is the fate of the vast majority of the population. Majority of people, they can become very, very well known and respected and rich or whatever, right? Successful, and they do things that are not proper. They do things that are not fitting to be done by adults. They're stuck in their own inner primitive world their whole entire life. Sometimes it's more hidden, sometimes it's more revealed. Right? You call them a mature man, a grown person, but really they're still 3-year-olds inside. Right? He's like showing themselves large, like I'm a big kid now, but really they've never matured, they've never grown inwardly. Externally, yeah, they have the car, they have the job, they have the house, they have the wife, but they're still kids, they're still 3-year-olds. Savlan v'nadiv ad shetifchenu oto v'az tiru. He's calm, he's giving, until you test him, and then you're going to see. אם תרצו דוגמה לתופעה זו, הסתכלו נא מרחוק ד' אמות באנשים יפים ואלגנטים. If you want an example for this, then just look distance of 4 amot on pretty beautiful people, right? Elegant people. V'gam baalei emtzaim. They have the means, they have the ability, they have the things to, right? They have the means to live a life. They're mature adults. ובכל זאת מאבדים הם מהר את צלם האנוש שלהם ומתנהגים בשיא הילדותיות. And with that, they lose their Selem Elokim, they lose their godliness in a minute, and they act in the most childish way possible. למשל מול buffet מפתה ביורו יוקתי. You get to now a beautiful buffet in a luxurious event. כחיות הבר, כחובבי הבר. Bar in Hebrew means wild. You can have wild berries, right? You can have wild animals.
Go to a bar and get wild.
So it says, Kehayot bar, like wild animals. Kachovavei bar, so too are the lovers of the bar, meaning the food bar, the buffet. Right? It's just like a person, what happens? How they lose their godliness the second they see 30, 40 different dishes in front of them. They can pick whatever they want. All of a sudden they're running, I gotta get a plate, and I'm pushing and kiddush, and I have to push over people, and like, what's going on? How did you lose your God so fast? Because there's some whiskey on the table, some arak on the table. What happened? How did you just go through shachrit and musaf, and now you're pushing people to get a l'chaim? Kodem kol ne'emanim la'atchalatenu. First things first, we have to be loyal to our beginnings. Nedaber me'abchina fisit shebenishima. We talk about the physical aspect of breathing. היות ושואפים חמצן המתאר את הלב ועולה למוח ומעברר אותו יפה, מעברר אותו יפה. Since we are inhaling oxygen that purifies the heart and goes up to the brain and ventilates it very well, אין לנו פעולה שתורמת לבריאות כמו תרגילי נשימה. So then there's no action that you could do in your life that will help your health more than practicing your breathing. כמה דקות כל יום, אך בצורה עקבית. A few minutes every day, but very consistently. יישוב הדעת שלו זוכים הנשמים כראוי. The יישוב הדעת, the settled mind, the calmness of the mind that people that practice their breath properly, מאפשר ליצור מרחק קט מכל מה שעשוי לגרום לנו לאבד איזון. It helps us to create a distance, right? A distance from all the problems, anything, all the distractions in life that could make us lose our balance, right? The more we practice our breathing, but we really practice it every day, we set time to do it, because it's not about something we want to have in theory again, right? It's something that we want to have practical, so when I come through a test and I have an nisayon, I'm able to actually just, and I get through the test. I don't punch the person in the face, I don't do the thing, right? I don't scream at that person, I don't get confused, I don't lose my emunah, because I every day practice this and I know how to just, okay, I need to tap into it right now, I need to just stop and breathe. והנה צורת האדם בוגר מחליפה את המפלצת התאוותנית, ובמקום לכפות את עצמו כנגד רצונו, הוא פשוט משתחרר מן הגירוי, חלקית לפחות. A mature person doesn't need to fight his yetzer and all of his lusts and now he's at war. No. Let me just release myself of it really quick. You see the buffet? You stop. Before you get the food, you just breathe. Right? And the buffet is just a mashal for any other lust that we have in life. Right? This is a known thing. Some of the Hasidim, they would practice, pour themselves a glass of wine, get a food, whenever it is, and just look at it for 2 minutes before making a bracha, before engaging it. I want it, I'm thirsty, pour the cup, I'm going to drink it. Can I look at it for 30 seconds of consciousness without making a bracha, without drinking from it? I'm really thirsty, I am. My body is telling me I need water right now. Can I give an opportunity for my neshama to overtake this situation right now and to calmly drink this water and to remember that there's spark of Hashem inside of it, that's what's going to give me, quench my thirst and give me the sustenance and the vitamins? So when you breathe, as a mature person, you literally just, you let the lust go, you let the test and the ta'avot to just go without having to fight them. ואם כבר סתם בריאות, למה לא גם בריאות הנפש? If we're already talking about bריאות, so then why not also בריאות הנפש? Why not the soul, right? So we talked about the physical aspect of breathing. Now, what about the soul part? The second one, the fact of our soul, right? We talked about the physical. The soul obviously also depends on the physical, right? If you want to use breathing to help you better spiritually, you have to actually breathe physically, right? If you want to be alive to do mitzvot and keep Torah and pray, you have to actually be alive. You have to have a body that the neshama is inside. So obviously the spiritual aspect of it is dependent on the physical. All the sicknesses come from depression, from sadness. Yeush, despair, dikaon, depression, all these things are what cause a person to become sick. And whoever can heal themselves from these different mental illnesses, right? These depressions and these hardships and these mindsets that we have and we find ourselves in, by way of a serious practice, but also very simple and easy. Right? Breathing is not something crazy you have to do. It's not going to the gym even. It's literally something that you do all day long anyway. It's just now pay attention to it and do it for 7 minutes really intensely every single day so that you practice and you know how to do it. It's very, very simple, but you have to take it seriously. And a person that does this and starts to heal himself inwardly and clean themselves up, is marching certainly towards general healing. Right? You might have a specific problem that you have to take care of, but in general, a healthy person, so to say, can be very sick, but they're healthy. Right? They're literally they're going through something, but in their mind, their strength, their soul power, they're healthy. They're not caught up in what they're going through. They're beyond what they're going through, and they're completely connected. It's just, I have this one ailment right now that I'm dealing with. Mentally, this person, he has the air needed to keep his brain completely ventilated. It's included in there, the fire and the water, and it's working with gvurot as well. ידוע שהנשימה היא מיחידי כוחות הנפש שהם דו ערכיים. Breathing is one of the few כוחות הנפש, powers of the soul that we have, that has two values to it. יש בה צד אוטומטי, it has the automatic side of it. בדומה לפעימת הלב, similar to the pumping of the heart. ויש בה גם צד רצוני כמו אכילה ושתייה, and it also has a choice side to it, like eating and drinking. There's the automatic side where it's just happening, and then there's times where I can choose to breathe or to not breathe, right? עצם הדבר שהמתרגל משתדל וזוכה לשלב את שני הצדדים האלה, just the fact that a person who practices breathing, he tries to get used to using both of these sides, right? The sides where it's automatic and the side where I'm choosing to do this. כלומר שהנשימתו תהיה טבעית, it's a natural breath, אך ביחד עם זה מודע הוא היטב שזה קורה עד שהוא בעצמו קובע מה יהיה הקצב. But it's a natural breath, but with that, I'm conscious, very, very aware that I'm so conscious of my natural breath that I'm the one that determines the pace. I'm the one that determines how I'm breathing. So yes, it's a natural breath. It's not forced, right? This we're talking here when you really practice on it a lot, you get to a point where it's like there's people that can breathe out of one nostril without having to do this. Why? Because for a long time they had to do this, and they got to a point where they're used to, they can split the. Like it's like muscle memory, right? Like their brain has worked out, no, I want to breathe out of this nostril. It's a pretty cool thing to do, right? And by the way, breathing out of one nostril only with your nose is out of this world, also to help with focus and to calm down different things. A person like this is connecting his subconscious with his conscious. Natural breathing happens anyway, but I'm the one that's determining at what pace. Right? So it's like I'm conscious of my natural breathing and I'm determining how my natural breathing is going to play out. So the yichud. Out of this connection comes out many different interesting offspring. Your awareness, your consciousness is more able now to rule over the subconscious. If he had an undesired addiction, he can now convince his subconscious to help him become sober of this thing and to give up on this thing. Right? Because all of these things that are ruining a person's life, they're coming from the subconscious, right? So now when you make more of a connection between the conscious and the subconscious by way of your breathing, so now you're able to send more messages, and you're able to send those convincing messages of, we're not really addicted to this thing, we don't need this thing. Look, we just breathe for a little bit with consciousness and you already feel better, so you don't need the thing. You don't need to go there. By way of you making a decision to breathe, you're taking your subconscious and you're bringing it up to a level of consciousness. Now you're meriting to see the birth of things that have been hidden in your subconscious since you were a kid. Right? A lot of things we knew and we had naturally. Right? We fell all the time as kids and we got back up and we kept going. Like Rav Torjman used to say. Right? We fell and we fell and we kept getting up. Now sometimes we fall, it takes us 2 weeks to get up. What happened? The subconscious has the ability to get up, but it's not connected to the conscious. It's not connected to the side of choice. I'm choosing. It's just running on autopilot. So it's like when a person breathes just because they're alive. That's one level of breathing, but that's definitely not the goal, and that's not the ultimate power you could get out of the most simple thing Hashem gave to you. It can be way more powerful if you were to pay attention. So by way of making that choice, you get to wonderful, wonderful revelations that were hidden inside since you were a kid. This is a straight path to getting to know yourself. Right? This chapter again is called Gidul Banim, raising children. Why? Because it's about raising your inner child. A lot of us are stuck. We're still 3-year-olds even though we're adults, right? And we look mature and we have things going on in our life, right? But inside we're still a kid in an immature way. We need to take that immature kid, that little kid inside of us that has so much potential to breathe and to have fun and to get over things quickly and to not get stuck, right? To get hurt, cry, express his pain, but get back up and be real and continue going and to look for simcha. We need to take that and bring it to the conscious level of everything we do know. We need to go through our tests and bring that kid out to help us breathe, to get over it. It's all stuck inside. There's those who suggest breathing, right, while closing one nostril, like we just talked about. So too, when you do the opposite, when you exhale, you have focused breaths to the middle path. They say this is how you get to balance, right? You breathe out of this nostril, breathe out of that nostril, then you breathe unified. Yeah.
Does he talk about like the different techniques how to do it? Breathing with this nostril and that one and what it's doing, like, and how to do it, like instructions?
He mentions different things. But
figure out where to find that. So.
But I have the answer. I'll tell you of them. But, I don't remember the answer, but I have the answer. I know how to get it to you. I just talked to someone about this last week. For sure there's wisdom in all of these techniques, right? That's what he's coming to say, and you're going to see this throughout the book. He always says there's this technique, there's that technique, but in the end we're Jews, right? So there's wisdom here. For sure there's wisdom in doing this and that to balance your system, because the system in the end is a physical system, and if this is physical practice of breathing helps to regulate it, for sure there's a wisdom there. But when it comes to what we're talking about, it's enough for us, the words of Reb Nachman, who teaches us that etzem adat, the core of what is dat, gishur ben shnei chelkei hamoach, the gesher, the bridge between the two parts of the brain, chokhmah and bina, right? What is dat? It is the outcome, it's the tiferet of, right? Like tiferet is the chesed and gevurah, so is dat the chokhmah and bina. It's the connection between two. It's the neshama of everything that's going to come out in your midot. It's the neshama of the 6 midot, right? Where does it come from? Chokhmah, my side of bitul and seeing godliness and everything, and bina, my side of me being created and wanting to aspire to do good and to get things going and to bring new ideas down, and my tefillot and wanting to be better, right? The running and the returning unified together. Talui b'neshima. This is etzem adat. The dat, Rabbi Nachman says, is dependent on your breath work. Shneimar v'nishmat shadai tevinam. The neshama of shakai of Hashem, that's what's tevinam. That's where you get understanding. The soul of Shaddai. The main aspect here, when you come to breathe, it's a heavenly thing. It's not talking about here nishmat, the soul of a Shaddai. Ela al neshima elohit, rather on the godly breath. The breath of God is what brings bina. The breath of God is what brings understanding. Klomar neshima shenoshef shaddai bekirbi kol rega. This breath that God is bringing down into my midst at any moment, He tachnis bi chokhmah. It will bring down inside of me chokhmah. He tosif li havana kazot shelo esig ota al yedei shum shiur v'shum sefer. That will bring me understandings that I won't understand, that I won't acquire by any shiur Torah, by any book. Just breathing will bring me things that no book could bring me, that no rabbi's shiur could bring me. Havana elohit neto. Pure godly understanding. Bashra ach lo baskala, with a presence and not with understanding. You feel it, you know it. It's nothing you understood, nothing that you were taught, you heard. You just breathe. And by way of that breathing, you're going to get a lot of downloads. Ubema petach Rabbeinu et seif yudbet shebetorah chet. How did Reb Nachman start the 12th room in the 8th Torah? In the second part of Likutei Moharan. That's where this idea comes from, right? That breathing will bring you understanding and on a higher level. Al yedei inyan ha'izun. It's by way of the idea of balance, like it's written there. Kshemazeg haraya b'shlemut. When you like you call it mazgan from the word mezig, like air conditioning. It's not air conditioning. It's like
air conditioning.
When you condition your lungs properly, yeah. When you breathe properly, right? When you condition your air, the air of your lungs properly. Ma'u mezig haraui. What is the proper measure? Mezig is like to mix. Right? Limzog. Also, when you pour water inside your cup, that's called mizigat hakos. Right? Why? Because the wine was so powerful that you had to add water to balance it so that you could drink it and make a bracha on it. Right? Time in the Chazal, they couldn't just take wine and make a bracha on it. You didn't do that. You could only make bracha if you put water in it, not because of Kabbalistic things. Back then it was Kabbalistic, and that physically the wine was too charif, too sharp. Too strong, right? So what is the proper mixture? What is the proper conditioning you need for your lungs? Perfect balance and bridges between all of the extremities, right and left, elyon v'tachton, up and down, consciousness on my subconsciousness, spirituality and physicality, all of them are outcomes and actions of the dot. Here's a side tip he brings, by the way, a side tip. Since the main aspect of the dot is dependent on breathing, whoever wants to hold their to not lose it, whoever wants to just keep it together, right? You want to guard that. You don't want to lose it throughout your day. You don't want to lose it in life. Practice every day to breathe. Set every day 7 minutes where you sit down and you practice your breathing. And now we're going to go look into it from a different part in the next step, which we're not going to do now, but in the next chapter we're going to learn from Sefer Yetzirah, B'ezrat Hashem, and Etz HaChaim as well, B'ezrat Hashem, about holy stress. That's the next topic, B'ezrat Hashem.